Yeah, you're gonna be in the. I think you're gonna be on the like the attack. You know what I mean? I think that's the vibe. Go on, do your thing. Yeah.
I started playing with the fourth grade trombone.
I actually started playing snare drum first, and I switched from snare drum to baritone horn, like marching baritone horn, in the seventh grade, and I played that up through college. And while I was in college, I was always coming back home playing bass drum. So I was actually a horn player who was drafted to play a bass drum.
We've been band going 33 years. Glenn got the band about 6 months ago, something like that.
Months ago, right.
6 months ago. And Chad been in the band like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Fun that we put their daddies. Ain't that something? Unbelievable.
Is there one specific place that you try and look for your talent?
It's happened natural. Some guys been playing music, like the young guys in the band, they hang around the band long enough to hear enough music that we play. They say, Phil, can you join the band? I said, wait till somebody get fired and drop out. That's how it works.
I see.
I was hurting, boy. Them four parades killed me. Yep, them four parades killed me.
Well, they call the city the Big Easy for a reason. No one's in a rush to go anywhere or do anything. And so, communities last forever. You can leave this place, come back 20 years, you're like, wow, it's pretty much the same. Nothing has really changed. The buildings, the people, the culture, the food. You like, Katrina couldn't even, if a hurricane as massive as Katrina couldn't wipe it away, or yellow fever or something like that, I don't think anything can. Think of the happiest moment of your life. That's New Orleans. Every day.
So right there, so it's wow. So it's that whole stuff. Yeah.
We were mentored by older musicians because we were allowed to go out and watch them play, like the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. They used to have a standing Thursday night gig, and we were young, but they would let us come in and listen to them play. We would listen to the Trey May Brass Band play. They would embrace us like, man, you guys should come check out what we're doing. They would never say, don't come here or don't listen. And now we feel like, as the older musicians now, we have to do the same thing. So when younger guys come around, we try to tell them, hey, man, get your horn out, come on stage, sit in for a little bit and learn a couple of tunes or learn how to be a professional in the profession. So we try to mentor that way.
Music is designed to take all the pain and the stress away. You wanna have a good time. You wanna forget about everything that life is throwing you at the point in time. You come to a Rebirth Brass Band show and you just forget about everything and just be yourself for a moment. You know what I'm saying? You can be anyone you want to be at a Rebirth show. New Orleans itself, it plays a big part in my life because it's so influential with the music side because of a lot of great trumpet players like, Louis Armstrong and Dave Bartholomew and all these guys from New Orleans from way back. They paved the way for guys like me to have a career in music, in New Orleans music, that is, And recently, after we won our Grammy, we see things changing for the brass band culture itself. A lot of people are starting to catch on and come out to shows and support the band, and that's big for the city of New Orleans. That let us know that our culture's being heard. The people are interested in our music now. You know what I'm saying? Because for a long time we thought it was only in the streets of New Orleans you can get it, but now you can catch it all over the world. I look up to these guys like in Kermit Ruffins played a big influence, like Terrence Blanchard, Wynton Marsalis, of course, Nicholas Payton, all those good guys from New Orleans. We all took a liking to jazz really young, me, Trombone Shorty, Glenn Hall, a lot of us young cats that's kind of keeping the culture going right now in New Orleans. We took a liking to it at a young age and just set up under the old cats and learned everything we can, and then we furthered our education at NOCA, Institute of Music in New Orleans for high school kids. And from there, man, we just been trying to take it to the next level.
That drum break right here.
I started out like around 3 or 4 playing the drums. I wanted to switch over because I seen the sousaphone, and I really wanted to play the big horn when I was about 7 to 8 years old. And a guy named Anthony Tuba Fat Layson made me carry a tuba to my grandmother's house, and I easily changed my mind about that. We're not scared to express ourselves through music. You know, a lot of people tend to really hide how they feel behind the music and talk about it. We express it right on our instrument. If we're having a bad day, you're gonna pretty much know it off our instrument. On a good day, you're gonna hear it on our instrument. And it not that it's good or bad, but it's just the soulfulness that you're gonna feel from that time that just is, you know, amazing that we can do that down here, no problem. It's been proven the last 2 days I've been in the studio, and we've taken all genres of music and squashed them together, and it sounds great. New Orleans music is just whatever you put together. You can get 10 folks with some instruments and come up with a whole different sound. You can't get that everywhere, man. It's just different. Our vibe down here, we drink different water. Our water come out the Gulf and out the Mississippi. And we just funky down here, you know. We like to have fun with the music and try different things.
How you doing? How you doing, bro? All right.
So you got some rest too, huh?
Yeah, you know, I just look good like that. That's all.
What's up, man? How you doing, man? All right. Hey, tell me something. You might know because you're also an actor. Did Mickey Rourke decide to look like you in his later years?
I don't know, bro.
You know, that's to me, that's every time I see Mickey Rourke. Every time I see him, I say, damn, because he went and got plastic surgery to look like you.
He would sit at the piano and play stuff, and he had a way about playing that funky knuckle kind of thing. Where he would, because then my mom's and his friend James Booker would come by the house, and he would play piano. He would show up every several months, about two, 3 times a year. He would show up at the house and play the piano. And maybe it was more often than that at times, but that's what it seemed like. Maybe every 6 months, James Booker would show up and would come and play our piano. And he would play like stuff I had never imagined anybody playing on the piano. He would play some classical mixed with some boogie woogie, with some swamp, bluesy, whatever, you know. And I was impressed by that. And then my dad, you know, he played some stuff, and he played more simple stuff, but it had some funk little thing to it. And he showed me like Cabbage Alley, which was Art's, which was one of Art's tunes on one of the Meters records, Cabbage Alley. What's those? George. What are those called? The other two? What is that? D. What is it?
C, B, 5, 4.
CBA, right?
CBA.
What?
All like major.
CBA.
That's it.
There's something about Benny and the Jets made you want to play the piano. Remember that song?
I maybe said that one time. You know what? I started listening. I listened to all kinds of stuff, and that was back being a kid of the '70s. You listen to that's what was on the radio, and yeah, that song hit me a little bit because that was this guy Elton John. You know, he crossed over to black radio. Benny and the Jets crossed. He was on Soul Train. which was totally insane.
Yeah.
Benny, and so was David Bowie with Fame. But so music that's the way, and then being around these guys, you know, it was something else. And so I started I mean, I was in love with music from the get-go. You know, as a small child, I loved listening to stuff. I loved looking at those records. They had a lot of 45s and all them specialty records and all them Larry Williams records. You know, as a kid, you would have you probably had a little phonograph, one of them little school record players that played 45s and whatnot. If you had to put the little disc in the middle of the record and play it.
What's happening, baby? How you doing? Good to see you.
All the musicians were, as we were growing up, and our cats playing music, making records, having hit records, but they all kept their day job because you worked for a living. You played music for something else, for the connection with the spirit. And you don't worry about, well, am I going to be making enough money doing this to make a living? No, I got my job, but I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do. This is my passion. This is my life. And I think that's the unique thing, because I've played with musicians. You know, I lived in New York for 10 years, played with cats there, played, you know, everywhere. And this is the only place where guy can have a gig, get a gig, and then call some cats to come and show up and play the gig. No rehearsal, nothing except, yeah, we got a gig tomorrow night. Can you make it? Yeah. You know, no questions about what we're going to do, how we're going to just show up and play the gig.
And what's your last line that you say in the shout out?
Where you at, Jack?
Okay.
I mean, you know,
but before the chorus, though.
Oh.
Okay, Horn Man.
Cool.
So when Horn Man comes,
yeah. Jab it, is a cool.
Okay, when Horn Man comes, I'm gonna know how to cue it. So we're gonna add 8 bars. All right. So that's gonna be this now. Okay, so that's just gonna be just over the groove, basically like the intro, but with you guys playing over it, and then then we're gonna add that da 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 da, and it's gonna come back into him. So actually, after the third chorus, we're gonna be da 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 ba ba da ba da ba ba da. Then you guys trade back and forth for 8 bars, and then I'll cue the da 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 ba ba da, and we go to the shout outs. All right, we got it. One more time. That tempo's right though. That feels good.
Yo, Crash, should I wait till at least after the lick, or should I come right up? I should wait till after the lick.
Yeah,
I should wait till the lick. I should do anything. Well, you know, I remember my first paying gig.
What was that?
Was with you, me, you, and Jolly.
Oh wow!
We played for one of them house parties.
Okay.
The people I think that was the Tips people. I was Hank and them. The people that opened that opened Tips turned it into the Tipatinas. It was the 501 Club.
Right.
And a bunch of those. They were, I don't know, they were kind of hippie-ish, kind of. The founders of the Tips, hippies, and they would have these parties in these basements. And I think a basement uptown. Yeah, I remember that stuff. And he had a gig. I guess I'm assuming that the amount of money you got, I was guessing that it might have been like about $600 they might have paid you, maybe it was more than that. But I think you took 3, you gave me 1, and you gave Jolly 2. That's kind of what I imagined.
I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
No, I made $100. I made $100 the first time I'm paid gig. And
guess what? My first gig, I made $7 a night.
So I made $100.
You made more than me.
No, but then later on, I ended up playing. I played for Lucky at Lucky's Club. I made $6.
Yeah, back in them days, you had to do it because you loved it. It wasn't about the money.
Back on my stomping ground. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Y'all sound good.
All down, stay down.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. I go to movies and see Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and them guys, you know, the Sons of the Pioneers, and the doo-woppers. The doo-woppers just fascinated me, you know, like Clyde McFadden, Sonny Till and the Oreos, and the Clovers, the Flamingos, Pookie Hudson and the Spaniels, you know. So I can do all of the parts, you know, like the bass part, the harmony, but not at one time yet. I'm working on that.
Let me know when you got it.
Yeah.
Be on the phone looking to go.